Hey, what's going on, YouTube family? Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Mark, where I like talking all things music, news stories, and my own personal series, Mark Under the Microscope, where I give you guys an inside look as to who I am as a person through inspirational and motivational vlogging. So if you like things like that, please remember to slash that like button and annihilate that subscribe button and hit that post notification bell. I drop videos like this every Monday and Friday and every day in between. And also, leave me comments down below. I love interacting with you guys, and I'll also do subscriber requests, so huge shout out to my subscribers out there. I love you guys, because without you there would be no me and there would be no channel. But I think I've talked enough, so let's just jump straight into these videos. Let's go!
I knew you'd come. Somehow I just knew you'd find me. Not knowing where I was or when I was coming back sent you crazy. I kept my spies on you.
Anytime you beg another man to set you free, you will never be free. Freedom is something that you have to do for yourselves.
This is why I say it's the ballot or the bullet.
Okay, come on, Lowkey.
There's freedom for everybody or freedom for nobody.
Freedom! The public service state, death to World Bank and IMF is it? Freedom! The kleptocracy orchestrating, subjugate the corporate state, that isn't freedom! Teresa's a terrorist, we could be standing at the precipice of
Come on!
Pontificate, philosophize, cross the T's, dot the I's. I heard him say the revolution won't be monetized, but packaged and commodified in this poisonous equation. I wonder what I might tax dodging tabloids, profit from these horrid lies, peddle patriotism but economically colonized.
Come on!
Tripping flags tell you that they're on your side, sell off your services abroad. Who do they prioritize? Robbing these robberies aren't secrets, bonuses for bankers and backhanders for arms dealers. Can't cage the alternative that now exists with the skill of an alchemist, turn pain to empowerment.
Come on!
In this powerful moment, no more of all these cowards sell us out to the donors. We rose like a giant, awoken out of this coma. Confront the culture of power with the power of culture. We sing freedom! Public service state, death to World Bank and IMF is it? Freedom! The kleptocracy orchestrating, subjugate the corporate state, that isn't freedom! Teresa's a terrorist, we could be standing at the precipice of freedom!
Come on!
History favors the trailblazers. The taste for change is contagious. It's no strange these faceless takers are afraid of raising wages when the same say that we should hate our neighbors. Then when the rage cascades, these status claim that their blame is what is clear. Some don't even pay taxes on their profits here. Vote against the interests of Murdoch and Rotherman. Not conspiracy theory, conspiracy actuality. Until now, politics merely a practicality. They deify celebrity. What happens when no celebrities turn on you? Say plunder's not necessity.
Come on, Lowkey, snap!
Those as brilliant as them who died, potential unrealized. Atomization had us distant and deafened. Now we're interconnected, independent but interdependent. We rose like a giant, woken out of a coma. Confront the culture of power with the power of culture. We sing Public service state, death to World Bank and IMF is it? Freedom! The kleptocracy orchestrating, subjugate the corporate state, that isn't freedom! Teresa's a terrorist, we could be standing at the precipice of freedom! We sing freedom! The public service state, death to World Bank and IMF is it? Freedom! The kleptocracy orchestrating, subjugate the corporate state, that isn't freedom! Teresa's a terrorist, we could be standing at the precipice of freedom!
Nobody.
Wow, I love that, I love that, I love that. So I quickly want to talk about Lowkey, the death of neoliberalism, and I want to sit here and talk about how much of a walking encyclopedia Lowkey is. Like, can we sit there and just say that? Like, I love the knowledge and how smart he is. Like, this man has to have like a 160 plus IQ. Like, he, like, the way he sits there and approaches the mic is like Albert Einstein, like a Thomas Edison, like a Garrett Morgan, like I don't know, like somebody who sat there, like a Socrates, like a Plato. Like the way he sit there and drop so much knowledge and so much philosophy and so much history and so many gems with on a track. Like he is like the Mahatma Gandhi, the Dr. Martin Luther King, the Malcolm X of rap. Like that's what I see him as, because he is such a force, such a political, powerful force who pushes the boundaries, pushes the limits. He sits there and talks about situations that we are afraid to sit there and touch upon, where we'll be labeled and typecasted as, oh, being a terrorist, or we'll be sitting there labeled as being somebody who's not for the government. We'll be sitting there like a Benedict Arnold, and there's like another word that I'm trying to think of, that, oh, treasonous to our country, where they will sit there and say that we're treasonous to our country because of the knowledge and just the types of things that he decides to rap about, and just to shed light upon, and just show how much our government is so corrupt, and sits there and just like corrupts our minds, and sits there and dictates what we shouldn't believe and what we should believe, and how we should sit there and approach life and how we shouldn't approach life. Like this is why Lowkey is that dude, and this is why he is a part of the Holy Trinity in UK, along with Akala and Mike Righteous, because they sit there and they drop so much knowledge. No disrespect to the other UK artists, because I love them all, but it's like, I feel like when you sit there and think about it, like, yeah, a lot of the artists that I reacted to, I think that they are amazing, but there is levels to this. Like you have to sit there, like everybody can't be LeBron James, everybody can't be Kevin Durant, everybody can't be Steph Curry, but everybody can be Joe Schmo down the street, or everybody can be Samantha who works at the hair salon, or like Samantha who wants to sit there and do something else, or Ellen who wants to sit there and do something else. Like everybody cannot be like these types of other people that I sat there and named. Like everybody can't be a Martin Luther King. That takes courage. Everybody can't be a Malcolm X. That takes courage. Everybody can't be a Mahatma Gandhi. That takes courage. Everybody can't be a Nelson Mandela. That takes courage. And like, so when I sit there and think about people like that, I feel like Lowkey pushes the boundaries. He pushes the limits. And he sits there and scratches the surface. Actually, I can't even say he scratches the surface. I feel like he annihilates the surface, because he sits there and goes against the grain of what so many people are so afraid to sit there and talk about within our societies, whether you're in America, whether you're in the States, whether you're in Central America, whether you're in South America, whether you're in the UK, whether you're in Russia, whether you're in Germany, whether you're in Portugal, whether you're in Asia somewhere, one of the Asian countries, whether you're in the Philippines, whether you're in Australia, like France, like he just put like Africa, like on a continent of Africa, like Kenya, and like just the Congo. Like he sits there and pushes boundaries. Like you can sit there and find faults within so many different varying government. The UK, I'm not from the UK, so I don't know the political system there, but I'm pretty sure you can find faults within everybody's political system, because when you sit there and have people, nobody is perfect in this world, and a human has trial and error. So it's like, especially when I sit there and think about America, we're not even going to get into the wrongs that America has sat there and done and still haven't corrected, like where we could sit there and talk about how slavery was never sat there, while how African Americans have still not received retributions for what happened in slavery, and we still haven't really been free up until like the 60s and 70s, after like the civil rights era. That's when African Americans were truly free within the United States. But I digress on that situation. But then you sit there and think about how Latino Americans, how they were disenfranchised and within the United States. So I can only speak about what goes on here on our soil within the States. But I mean, you have Native Americans who had to deal with genocide, but they have been compensated with being able to sit there and get retributions, but then they're for it. But then it's like, are you really sitting there getting a retribution when you're forced to live on reservations? Like, that's what makes me think sometimes when I sit there and think about when people sit there and push the envelope and have that argument sometimes when they sit there and talk about stuff like that, where they sit there and be like, well, oh, Native Americans have retribution. I'm like, okay, well, they receive money from the government. Okay, that's fine and dandy. But I mean, they had their land raped and stripped from them lustfully and sat there and also forcibly removed and almost annihilated and through homicidal genocide and basically almost eradicated on their own soil, where now they're forced to live on like basically reservations, which aren't in the best conditions. Because like I have like my second master's is American Studies, so I have like a lot of friends who I came into contact with who were in the program who are Native American, and just learning from them. And it's like we used to have this conversation, and it's like a lot of people always try to sit there and be like, oh, well, my plight is worse, and then my plight is this, and my plight is that. It's like everything is wrong. Jewish concentration camps was wrong. Japanese internment camps was wrong. Slavery was wrong. Latinos being forced off of out of the Southwest and the West Coast was wrong. Like Native Americans forcibly removed through Indian removal through the Trail of Tears was wrong. Like all of that was wrong. So it's like you can't sit there and justify and say, oh, my struggle is greater than yours and my struggle, because the pain and hurt is still there and very heavy within the different varying cultures. So I hate when people sit there and try to have these arguments about that, because it's like, at me as an African American male, who is it that for me to sit there and say that my struggle as an African American male is greater than what your people had to deal with through Jewish internment camps? Like, I'm not gonna sit there and say that. What I can say is that the disenfranchisement of blacks have lasted longer, but I can't sit there and say that the effect of that is any different from what we both have to feel, and the plight that we feel disenfranchised by, if that makes sense. So it's like, I hate when people like, because I remember having like that conversation, and it was like a debate where I was in class, where people sat there and tried to push back and argue with me about that situation. And I'm like, and there was like a big debate between this black girl, this young black lady, girl, and I don't want to say girl, because that's like kind of sexist sitting there saying that, because she's not a girl, she's not a little girl, but a young black woman and young Jewish woman, and they were sitting there bumping heads basically about basically sitting there about the plight of the Jewish concentration camps and the plight of African Americans within, and whose struggle was way worse, but at the hands of the Germans and at the hands of the American government and also the British society. And also, even if we want to take it a step further, where my family is from in Louisiana, which was under Spanish rule and French rule at a time, because people tend to forget that Louisiana wasn't even a part of America, so that was a whole different system within itself. That system of slavery was different from the systematic of slavery that was implemented throughout the rest of the America South. So it's like, when you sit there and think about it, I think about Lowkey in a way. It's like, I feel like he's such a philosopher and such a force, where he sits there and pushes against the grain and allows us to sit there and think psychologically in a way that others wouldn't want to sit there and think. And I definitely appreciate that, and I definitely love that about his artistry, because it's so amazing to behold and to see. So with that being said, you guys know how I feel about Lowkey. I never can rate Lowkey, because he is a lyrical genius. He is a lyrical monster. Like, I feel like he has fangs in his mouth, and when he approaches a mic, he just feasts and just sticks a fork and just eats it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack. That's how I feel like Lowkey is. But with that being said, please let me know what you feel like with the Death of Neoliberalism in the comments below by my man Lowkey, one of the hottest UK artists, if not the hottest UK artist. But we can debate that in the comments below. And that's no disrespect to any of your faves. If you have like faves like Ocean's Wisdom, if you come across this video, or Getz, or Dave, or Dappy, because everybody knows I love Dappy, because like I said, I love the versatility that Dappy shows. Like, he's an amazing artist. I love him. Like, that's not to take away from Mike Righteous. That's not to take away from Cadet. That's not to take away from any of the phenomenal artists that are over there. It's just that I feel like there are levels and tiers to this. There's like 1A, there's 1A, 1B, and all that, at least in my mind. And I love them all. And it's like having the opportunity to react to all of them. I don't find that none of them have bad music so far that I've heard, because I feel like they all represent a story and a struggle that is personal to them, and that they make unique to themselves, and that they put on the forefront. So I can greatly appreciate that, and I just think that they are all incredibly dope. So with that being said, I'm going to end the video right there. Please remember to be safe out there. Remember to stay awesome, be awesome, because you guys are all awesome. This is your boy Mark, and I'm signing off. Deuces. Shout out to the Holy Trinity also. Lowkey, Mike Righteous, and also Akala. Peace.
They need rappers like me. They need rappers like me, so they can get on their fucking keyboards and make me the bad guy, Chung Lee. Hey, yo, I've been